Hello, friends. The 825th day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. Friends, we are experiencing power outages again. The time without electricity is also increasing. Experts warn that outages will be even more severe as the summer heat approaches. I'm scared to even think about what will happen in winter. Because of this, I am asking for your help to purchase a solar charging station. With its help, I can be more autonomous and not depend on power outages. You will find collection links under the video and in the pinned comment. Thank you in advance for your help. Russian troops captured Nathylo-V in the Avdiivka direction, reported the Ukrainian military telegram channel Deep State. Previously, Russian military telegram channels wrote about this. And yesterday, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced the same thing. In the area of this settlement to the south and southeast, the enemy continued to advance in an area up to 2.4 kilometers wide and to a depth of 1 kilometer. The movement of Russians from Nathylo-V potentially threatens the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces in Nevelski. In addition, the Russians are trying to break into the neighboring village of Karlivka, where a large reservoir is located. In the Umensky area, the enemy advanced to a depth of 750 meters. At the same time, the movement of Russian troops in the direction of Yasnobrodivka is recorded from Umensky. The Russians have also advanced northeast of Sokol and are approaching the settlement from the north. The American Institute for the Study of War reports that Russian troops on this sector of the front have advanced west of Yevhenii, northeast of Sokol and west of Solovyovo over the past 3 days. Earlier, the Ukrainian General Staff reported that the situation in the Avdiivka direction was the most difficult, and the Russians had a number of tactical successes there, but which ones were not specified. In the Bakhmut direction, the Russians continue their assault on the defenses of Chasiv Yar on the eastern outskirts of the city. At the same time, storming the defenses of Kalinivka, which is north of Chasiv Yar. Over the past 24 hours, the Ukrainian armed forces managed to repel an enemy mechanized attack east of Chasiv Yar. At the same time, small assault groups of Russian troops continue to try to improve their tactical positions on the outskirts of Kalinivka and in the Kanal micro-district. Yesterday, the Russian Ministry of Defense announced the capture of Ivanivka in the Kupyansk sector. The military telegram channel Deep State reported the day before about the advance of Russians in the village. The resource map also shows the presence of the Ukrainian armed forces on its northern outskirts. After capturing Ivanivka, the enemy will continue to press along the railway located on the ridge, which, if successful, will allow him to subsequently launch an assault on Stepova Novoselivka, located in the lowlands west of Ivanivka, and increase pressure on positions west of Kotlia Rivka. In turn, the improvement by Russian troops of the tactical position west of Kotlia Rivka will allow them to subsequently attack with a wide coverage the area of the ridge and the dominant heights west of Tabavka, which, if successful, will give the enemy the opportunity to take partial fire control of the logistics of the area from the village of Pischani to the village of Pischani. However, this is the worst-case scenario, which, due to the battles for Sinkivka from April 2023, can be translated into positional combat operations, which will gain time to build an effective line of defense. Fighting continues on the border with Russia in the Kharkiv region, although the Russian advance here appears to have been largely stopped. In Vovchansk, shooting battles continue with varying success. The enemy brought up heavy flamethrower systems. The situation in the city has not changed significantly. Positional combat operations continue in the Lipsy area. The situation is also unchanged. By the way, Deputy Commander of the 3rd Assault Brigade, Shorin, said that the enemy's offensive initiative in the Kharkiv region was shot down, but there is no point in deceiving yourself that everything is fine here. According to him, now the situation has really stabilized, there is nothing critical. But the enemy not only did not abandon his plans, but one can say that the previous steps were a test of our defense, and the answer was not given to us very easily, he wrote in his Telegram channel. Meanwhile, Russia is massing troops in 3 northern sectors near the border with Ukraine, the U.S. Institute for the Study of War said. Concentration is observed in the Belgorod region, in the Grey-Voronezh-Borisovka, Proltarsky region. From here, the offensive could develop towards Zolochiv and Bohodukhiv, northwest of Kharkiv, or west towards populated areas along the P45 highway connecting Bohodukhiv and Sumy, or in both directions. And also, limited forces are concentrated in the Kursk and Bryansk regions near the border with the Sumy region. The Institute for the Study of War suggests that in this way Russia continues to stretch Ukrainian forces, and offensive operations in the Sumy-Kharkiv direction will be limited at least until the northern group of Russian troops reaches the planned size. However, even in this case, the forces will not be enough to encircle or capture Kharkiv or Sumy, the Institute believes. Defense Minister Umerov, in an interview with Reuters, said that Russia keeps about 500,000 troops in Ukraine and on the border, and is preparing to deploy another 200 to 300,000. According to him, Moscow is preparing for a new offensive and wants to open a new front in the north. On Monday, power outages returned throughout Ukraine. At the same time, the situation with light may soon worsen. This follows from a message from the Ministry of Energy of Ukraine. The agency writes that yesterday, after scheduled repairs, a nuclear unit of one of the power plants was connected to the power grid and is now gaining power. But several nuclear units are preparing to go out for repairs at once in order to prepare for the heating season. Experts have already said that repairs at nuclear power plants have aggravated the situation with electricity shortages. That is, now even fewer nuclear units will be used in the energy system. The situation may worsen in July, said Omelchenko, director of energy programs at the Rozumkov Center. This is due to the summer, when the repair of capacities is affected by the heat and increased consumption due to air conditioners. Therefore, the deficit in the system will increase and may be especially large in July, and the timing of shutdowns may seriously increase, says Omelchenko. And meanwhile, the Dniester River and its tributaries sharply became shallow. This is evidenced by videos from different villages on the border of a number of regions, which are published by their residents. The footage shows that in some places the water has completely disappeared from the river. The author of one of the videos believes that water was released from the Dniester to increase electricity production. Apparently, water is being released for the Dniester hydroelectric power station located downstream. All this is happening against the backdrop of a generation deficit resulting from the shelling. Also today, the national energy company Ukrenergo reports that all thermal power plants in Ukraine have been damaged or destroyed. Now their share in electricity production has decreased to 5%. 2 hydroelectric power stations are completely out of order. Nuclear power plants are operating, but in the summer many units undergo repairs. Up to 40% of the shunting capacity, which was used to cover the morning and evening peaks of consumption, was also destroyed. By importing up to 1.7 gigawatts of power from the European Union, the deficit can only be partially covered. It is impossible to restore all generating capacity before winter. Restrictions on electricity consumption will remain a part of our lives for a long time due to large losses in the capacity of Ukrainian power plants. The repair campaign will be more complex since the restoration volumes are very large, Ukrenergo states. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.